My name is Kay, and I am a postgraduate researcher at the School of Education, Durham University in UK. I shall be presenting my paper in regards to the relationship between extended logic, self-confidence, art history, and personal key skills to visual arts education, which are valuable for the creative economy in Singapore. Unlike other neighboring countries, such as Malaysia and Indonesia, which have natural resources, Singapore has only one resource. This is known as human resource. Human resource is a valuable asset for the Singapore economy. For this reason, the government has placed strong emphasis on training and developing a robust human resource with skills that are relevant and appropriate to the education system in order to contribute to the country. In recent years, Singapore has been moving towards developing its nation as a creative economy. A creative economy does not equate just to arts and culture. A creative economy refers to a creative human resource or a creative manpower that possesses skills such as imagination and innovation. Therefore, the creative economy correlates to education in Singapore. The government has also realized that arts education is able to develop skills that are valuable for the creative economy. My recent research study that focuses on the rationale for visual arts education in Singapore shows that the desired skills for the creative economy relate to the visual arts curriculum in Singapore. These research findings are based on a qualitative research study with art scholars, art teachers, and former policy makers. Based on the art teachers' comments, visual arts education is taught to be developed personal key skills. These key skills relate to the Ministry of Education art syllabuses, which are given as a guide for art teachers to develop arts curriculums in schools. On the other hand, the art scholars and former policy makers said that visual arts education enables students to develop extended logic, self-confidence, and to learn art history, which are important for creative economy in Singapore. Further examination of the differing comments between the art teachers, art scholars, and former policy makers found them all to be related to the creative economy. Therefore, the aim of my paper is to establish the notion of interrelationship between the qualitative interviews and the creative economy. Before I discuss the interrelationship between the qualitative interviews and the creative economy, it is necessary to discuss the types of creative skills which are useful for the Singapore creative economy in order to see how these creative skills are related to the personal key skills, MOE art syllabuses, extended logics, self-confidence, and art history. It is also important to establish the types of personal key skills which students are able to develop through visual arts education based on the qualitative interviews with art teachers and the types of skills that students can develop with reference to the Ministry of Education art syllabuses in Singapore. These will enable one to see the relationship between personal key skills and MOE art syllabuses because the personal key skills are found in the MOE art syllabuses too. It is also equally important to identify the key aspects in extended logic, self-confidence, and art history from the qualitative interviews with art scholars and former policy makers in order to see the relationship between these identified skills with personal key skills and MOE art syllabuses. Finally, there will be an illustration to demonstrate a group students project to show how visual arts education in relation to personal key skills with reference to MOE art syllabuses, extended logic, self-confidence, and learning art history are able to develop innovation and imagination which are desired skills for the creative economy in Singapore. According to Dr. Tan Chin Nam, who was the permanent secretary to the Ministry of Information, Communications and the Arts, he identified innovation as an important skill for the creative economy. His point has also been highlighted in the media release by Economic Review Committee and an article found in Chapter 1 of The Rise of the Creative Cluster. What is the meaning of innovation? According to the concise Oxford Dictionary, innovation is a process to derive new ideas or methods from original ideas or methods. Based on the meaning of innovation, how can innovative skill be developed through visual arts education in relation to the personal key skills, MOE art syllabuses, extended logic, self-confidence, and art history, which were identified from the qualitative interviews with art teachers, art scholars, and former policy makers? The response to this question has to relate to the discussion in the following aspects. The types of skills that one can develop based on the MOE art syllabuses. The types of personal key skills which art teachers commended that students are able to develop through visual arts education, and how these personal key skills are related to MOE art syllabuses, extended logic, self-confidence, art history, which art scholars and former policy makers said they are important for the creative economy, and how they are related to personal key skills and MOE art syllabuses. To identify the types of skills that students can develop based on the MOE art syllabuses, I have used a research method that is known as content analysis to enable me to interpret common themes or ideas that are frequently found in the document. The initial stage is to identify key points from the MOE arts syllabuses, and with these key points, I use them as my reference to search for literature on arts education that are related to these key points. Subsequently, I use the key points from the literature to interpret the common themes or ideas which are the skills that students can develop based on the MOE arts syllabuses. Three main themes are found in the MOE art syllabuses. They are sense of awareness, art appreciation, and developmental skills. Sense of awareness primarily concerns the response of students' five senses to their surroundings. For example, books they have read, things they have touched, or music they have listened, to list some instances. Art appreciation is a process that allows students to appreciate or learn different art forms generated by local and international artists. However, students also develop other connecting skills that are linked to the process of art appreciation, and these enable students to generate art ideas for them to develop their artwork. As you can see from this slide, the orange highlights are the types of connecting skills that link to the process of art appreciation. These connecting skills are observation, which enables students to study the various art forms to generate art ideas. Planning, organizing, recording are skills to gather information to generate art ideas. Resourceful is developed through recording information and becomes a resource to generate art ideas. Visually literate enables students to relate to different art forms. Perception is to perceive art ideas. Communication allows students to articulate what they have learned. Writing is to write their thoughts. Enquire is to ask what they do not understand. Cultural awareness is developed by learning different types of art forms. Interpret is to learn to understand. Think and analyze relate to inquire. Imagination is to generate art ideas from the various types of art forms students have learned. Self-criticism is to give constructive criticism. Research relates to plan, organize, record, and analyze to generate art ideas. After the students have generated their art ideas, they learn to develop these art ideas by exploring, experimenting, improvising, imagining, inventing, manipulating, innovating, deciding, solving problems from different types of materials, technique, and skills in order to conceptualize these art ideas to create their artworks. The final artwork is a reflection of a student's visual communication. This has also developed their self-confidence, spontaneity, and precision. Slide 15 shows a diagram that illustrates the creative process based on the MOE Arts syllabuses. The following 3 slides show the comments from the art teachers. This slide shows the comments made by the art teachers who identify personal expression, sense of awareness, perception, and observation, which are personal key skills developed from visual arts education. Creativity, thinking, exploration, innovation, experimentation, conceptualizations are also personal key skills developed from visual arts education. Self-management, self-awareness, perseverance, and confidence are other personal key skills developed from visual arts education. Closer investigation shows that these personal key skills are found in the creative process based on the MOE Art syllabuses. By comparing the creative process on the left versus the table that identifies the personal key skills on the right, you can see that the personal key skills in red highlights are also found in the creative process in regards to the red highlights. This shows that personal key skills relate to the MOE Arts syllabuses. The next 3 slides show the comments made by the art scholars and former policy makers. These slides show that the art scholars say that visual arts education is able to develop extended logic. This slide shows that an art scholar says that it is important to learn art history through arts education because it gives students a general sense of how artwork should be assessed. In this quotation, the former policy makers say that in order to be confident in one's creative achievement, it is necessary to have good knowledge and skill, and this takes references from art history. How can extended logic, self-confidence, art history be related to personal key skills and MOE art syllabuses? This can only be responded once we understand the meaning of extended logic, self-confidence, and learning art history through the following discussions. According to Sally, he said that there is such a thing as extended logic. This means that it is possible for a person to interpret different meanings when seeing art. This notion is similar to wise men who explain that a person is able to reinterpret the actual meanings of things or objects to another meaning of the same objects or things. The capability to give new meanings from the original meanings of things or objects relates to imagination because Levi quoted Cain that we are able to imagine by creating new meanings out from the old meaning. However, imagination drives one to find or explore ways to materialize these imagined ideas as argued by Scruton. Therefore, extended logic is related to imagination. How does self-confidence relate to extended logic? Refer to Jones' explanation. Jones quoted Bandura that a person achieved self-confidence once he or she was able to find solutions to solve problems. The key aspects to find is similarly found in extended logic in relation to imagination because imagination drives one to find ways to materialize imagined ideas. How does learning art history relate to extended logic in relation to imagination and self-confidence? Schickler argued that learning art history is not about learning historical facts. Instead, learning art history enables one to reinterpret new meanings by finding ways to see how history influences the present time or the future. Here, the similar disposition in finding ways is also identified in extended logic in relation to imagination and self-confidence. On the left side of this slide, it shows a summary of the meaning of extended logic in relation to imagination, self-confidence, and learning art history. On the right side, it shows a summary of the scale art appreciation that is identified from the MOE art syllabuses and the personal key skills in regards to exploring and experimenting. The underlined red highlights in both tables are to show the common disposition in regards to find or to explore are found consistently in extended logic in relation to imagination, self-confidence, learning art history, personal key skills, and MOE art syllabuses. Therefore, it shows the relationship between extended logic in relation to imagination, self-confidence, learning art history, personal key skills, and MOE art syllabuses. How do Ministry of Education art syllabuses in Singapore and qualitative interviews from the art teachers, art scholar, and former policy maker relate to innovative scale? Our earlier discussion shows that the meaning of innovation is to give new ideas from established ideas. This is synonymous to extended logic, self-confidence, learning art history, because they display similar aspects in giving new meanings from existing meanings. Such aspects is found in art appreciation based on MOE art syllabuses because students learn to generate new ideas from existing art ideas from artists, and the subsequent development of these new ideas leads students to explore and experiment, which such skills are identified as personal key skills through visual arts education by art teachers. Therefore, innovation, which also relates to imagination, can be developed through visual arts education. The following slides illustrates that innovation and imagination can be developed through the understanding of extended logic, self-confidence, learning art history, personal key skills, and MOE art syllabuses based on a group student's artwork. Through the observation of the history of Egyptian art and Gothic architecture during the medieval art movement in the Romanic period in the mid-12th century, These students use these historical facts as their resources to perceive their art ideas by reinterpreting these historical meanings into a new meaning in the form of a three-dimensional artwork. Their initial idea was inspired by the beautiful stained glass windows at Sainte-Chapelle at Paris. They were also impressed by the Egyptian images of King Tutankhamun and Queen Nefertiti. They did an in-depth research on Egyptian art and they discovered that glass was a popular material for the Egyptians to manufacture small glass objects. This piece of information triggered their imagination to combine the stained glass effect of the windows at Sainte-Chapelle and the idea on glass from Egyptian art to create a prototype stained glass lampshade. This shows the notion of extended logic in relation to their imagination in terms of extending their ideas from the concrete historical evidences to create a prototype glass lampshade. They developed these ideas by exploring experimenting ways to integrate the images of King Tutankhamun, Queen Nefertiti, and the stained glass effect of the interior architecture of Sainte-Chapelle. As the artwork was a prototype lampshade, they needed to find a material to improvise as glass. They decided to use transparent acrylic sheets because they were light and could be cut into 4 pieces of triangles to form a triangular lampshade. These showed their problem-solving skill. They used permanent colored ink markers to draw and color the images of King Tutankhamun and Queen Nefertiti onto 2 of the acrylic sheets to achieve a stained glass effect to be as similar as possible to Sainte-Chapelle. They also drew patterns that were akin to stained glass patterns as found in Sainte-Chapelle for the remaining acrylic sheets. These display their manipulative skills by taking advantage of art materials such as permanent colored markers and acrylic sheets to produce a look-alike stained glass effect of a prototype lampshade. It also shows their inventive skills too. This slide shows the actual artwork. The group artwork shows the facade on the relationship between extended logic, self-confidence, and learning art history, which are related to the development of personal key skills and skills from the MOE art syllabuses, such as observation, perception, research, imagination, exploration, experimentation, improvisation, problem-solving, manipulation, and inventiveness. All these are reflections of innovation that define the element of generating new ideas from original ideas, in this case art history. It also helps one to realize that innovation comes with the discipline to undergo rigorous processes in order to create and materialize new ideas into reality. The students confess that they become more confident to meet future challenges because of the success they achieve through these projects. In conclusion, the development of personal key skills through visual arts education is able to cultivate extended logic, self-confidence, and learning art history. The personal key skills are also similarly found in the MOE art syllabuses, and as such it concludes the interrelationships between these skills. It also shows that these skills are a mirror to the development of innovation and imagination, which are desired skills for the creative economy in Singapore.